launched a payment relief program at the end of March. This was aimed at helping consumers who would have been adversely affected, of course, by COVID-19. That's through either joblessness or perhaps even pay cuts of any sort. Businesses were also part of the program. Absa has said that it's managed to help more than 370,000 account holders, amounting to almost 6 billion rand in cash flow relief over 3 months. Let's talk more about this now. Punki Modise is the CFO, or the Chief Financial Officer for Absa Retail and Business Banking in South Africa, and she joins me now via Skype. Punki, thank you so much for the time. I suppose the big question can be the draw in to 370,000. Is that the amount of people you thought you would get with this entire plan, or did you expect to perhaps get a little bit more? Is that in your books right now?
Thanks, Arabila, for having me on your program. So the 370,000 number that you're referring to is actually a little bit less than what we originally anticipated. So in our view, we still think that there's quite a fair bit of customers to go in this program.
Yeah, and to give then to perhaps few more customers, is it because they're perhaps not applying, don't know where to apply? Have you applied your minds to perhaps how you can get through to as many customers as possible in order to aid them in this process and not get too many defaults?
Yes, we have applied our view. I think if you look at, when we came to market with our program, we actually spent quite a lot of time thinking about, how can we assist our customers as far as it relates to this program. So in my view is we're going through a process of, calling a lot of these customers. And I would say that to some degree, the lockdown process hasn't made it easy for us to get hold of all our customers, but we are working as fast as we can to ensure that we can assist our customers, especially through this difficult time.
The difficulty, I suppose, in this is ensure that you get through to as many customers as possible. In doing that, though, do you feel that the pass-through, particularly from the Reserve Bank, has actually filtered through to customers? Have you been able to take the liquidity that you've been given and pass it on and filter it through to those consumers, whether it be in the form of loans or these relief programs?
I definitely think we have to a large degree. And in my mind is, for the first time, I was actually also amazed by the level of support that we've gotten and the leadership, that we've gotten from our regulators. So I would say that at this point in time, it's more, refining our execution capabilities and ensuring that we touch as many customers as we possibly can. And in instances, there are customers that we have touched who believe that, they don't require the facility at this point in time because, they do have, jobs. But to a large degree, I think we have catched the net in terms of the number of customers that we've gone out to.
Yeah. At the same time, then, Punki, you may get a sense then that some customers make the application and they perhaps don't get a sense of communication from the bank in time, perhaps, for the next debit order run. I can imagine that it would probably take 2 or 3 days or so to be able to actually get that debit order run done properly. Would you then be able to communicate to that customer? Or if they don't get that communication, what must they then do? For example, if then they get debited, even though they also spoke to you. So there are two aspects to this. If they didn't get communicated to, and the other part, if they do, but it's too late.
Yeah, so I think the key thing for us was the program is largely meant to capture all the customers, who were in good standing as at the 29th of February. And from our side, we thought of, the best way of doing this was to really go out to our customers on an individual basis and call on them. And we're going through that process as we speak. And I do agree with you that to some degree, some of our customers opted to that process. But, on the back of that, what's the national payment process that runs, 2 days before we can, capture everything that we need to capture from a debit order point of view. So that process, in a way, it does inhibit us, from ensuring that we effectively deal with the customers. But as far as debit orders are concerned, we are taking on also those calls from customers. And to the extent that we need to be remedying the positions, looking backwards, we do go to the process of remedying that position So in my view, is to a large degree, we've caught the net, and we are now almost up to date in terms of assisting our customers.
Yeah. Punki, is there a closing date to, requiring this payment? I mean, I know it's only for 3 months, but is there a 3-month period specifically that people must be applying for? We don't know the full extent of the impact of the virus as well. So have there been thoughts around how to extend the relief program as well?
I completely agree with you. The situation that we're in is very dynamic and fluid at this point in time. And we are already thinking ahead from our side in terms of, should we get to a space where the pandemic is still hitting our customers hard, what can we do? And in my view is we will unveil, the programs that we put in place when we get to that point in time. But from a thought process point of view, we are already thinking about, what if the next wave of payment relief is supposed to come through? How are we going to respond to that? So my sense is, but when the time is right, we will, avail that information to our customers.
Sure. Is there an upper threshold as to how much you can handle with regards to this relief program exactly? And also then in terms of the loan facilities perhaps that you're able to also put out in a time like this to consumers, is there a threshold as to how much you're willing to take on?
There is definitely thresholds that we work with because, as you know, we're a bank and we work within certain risk appetite. And so we monitor, the utilization based on that risk appetite as well. And my sense is if we get to a point where we get to an uncomfortable position, we will communicate that with our customers. But we are working closely with the regulators in ensuring that, we always have the right level of capacity to enable customers, to be in a much better position, particularly in terms of trying to solve the anxiety levels that they find themselves in at this point in time.
Yeah. Very finally, Punki, in terms of defaults, how many of those have you actually then had in a case like this?
So at this point in time, I would say that what we saw is that, in the first quarter of the year up to March, and interestingly, you mentioned the PPI index from Absa just now. In my mind, is that is also reflective of what we saw because as at the end of March, we saw a little bit of I would say defaults flowing through. Yeah. But in the month of April, that's when we're starting to look at what has the damage look like, and we are working through that process. So I cannot talk to it at this point in time. But my sense is when we go to market in July, you should get a fair sense of, what has the damage been, at least for the first 6 months of the year.
Yeah. Punki, appreciate the time. Thank you so much for that, and certainly hope many more customers and clients can certainly get as much help as possible. And thank you to you as the bank as well for doing your part in this fight against the coronavirus and its impact on normal South Africans as well. Punki Modise is the Chief Financial Officer then of Absa Retail and Business Banking. It certainly does get difficult for the economy on the whole as we try to unpack just how much impact it's going to make on South Africans. This virus certainly knows no end thus far.